Welcome to January 2026 Spotlight on Romance. Today we have Ana del Valle. She is an award-winning fiction novelist, creator of the AI Creative Writing Academy, and hostess of the Novelist Studio podcast and video show, where she empowers writers to harness AI without sacrificing voice or copyright.
Thank you. Thank you. You got more?
Excuse me, I'm sorry,
All
I
right.
had to let more people in. Through Anna's bold story first framework, she's ushering in a new age, a new golden age of literature, one confident writer at a time. Thank you for joining us, Anna. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so excited to be here. So, hello everybody, and I'm going to get started and I'm just going to do a quick intro of the AI Creative Writing Academy team, and then I'm going to share Simone with everyone, okay? So, let's see. Let me just start. Okay, guys. So, this is the AI Assist Creative Writing team. And the way that I like to talk about these editors that I have built, now I have a background in technology and I have a degree in creative writing. I have written fiction books before. So when ChatGPT came out in 2023, I was just I think it was 2022 now. Yeah, November of 2022. I was just like, oh my God, my two loves just, met each other, and I just decided to learn the platform really well. And I was using it to help me with my novel. And then I quickly said, hey, I could build all these editors to really help guide me. And then it became this entire system. And this is what you guys are seeing here. So this is the AI Creative Writing Academy. And they follow the same editorial order that every novel follows. So Simone right here, which you will meet today, she's a story starter and market positioning coach at the AI Creative Writing Academy. And what she does is when you have a book idea and you have all these really abstract ideas in your head, or you think you have a pretty good idea, but you know it's not quite yet fully baked. And there's all these questions that we really have to ask ourselves in order to really understand not just our novel, but the story that we're trying to tell, and the story behind the story, like what's really going on in our subconscious mind that's really wanting to tell the story. And then also really understanding our market position. Who is our reader? And are we aligned in our genre here? Do we really know who we're writing for? So this is what she does. And she does it with 20 Socrates style questions that we're going to go through today. So you'll get to meet Simone today. Then this is Olivia. Olivia is one of my star editors, and she is just fantastic at taking, once you really understand your novel and you do all this pre-work, she takes your novel and she builds this incredible structure and this great outline. And basically, you just sit down and you start writing your novel because she has worked out all the beats and all the right payoffs and all the right places so that you don't have to be guessing, oh, 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Um, so we'll see a quick demo of her at the end. She just very quickly, I'll recap her. And then this is Ellis. Ellis is my developmental editor, and she gets real surgical and she looks at all of your work scene by scene, and she takes into account the entire manuscript. She takes into account every scene that you have written, and she's really looking to do a structural edit and a character deepening edit on your manuscript. So, this is the AI Creative Writing Academy team. And now I'm going to switch over because we're going to get started with Simone. All right, 1 second here. Let me close that window. Okay, so the first thing that I am going to do is I am going to drop Simone into the chat. Okay. Ooh, look at this chat. Got
Excuse
some
me,
Aussies. Yep.
Anna. Um,
Yeah.
because we need to have uh, ChatGPT uh, subscription to do this.
Uh-huh.
Can you drop that link in there also for anybody who has not subscribed already? And
Oh
to
yeah. Yeah.
remind everybody, nobody gets a commission for whether or not you subscribe to OpenAI ChatGPT, but it is needed in order to use Simone or any of the other editors, simply because that's their requirement, not ours.
Yeah, I mean, the free version is just not going to allow you to use tools or, do any kind of stuff, which is what we're doing here. So I just dropped that. Thanks, Paula. That was a good idea, into the chat. Now, I want to say that we're going to go through the questions with Simone, and we're all going to do it together. You're going to be working on your own novel. Don't feel super rushed, like you're not going to get it right. Just do the best that you can because you'll have access to Simone for the next few days, and you can just spend more time with her and ideate with her
Well,
as
where do you want
needed,
it?
even after the call. Okay, thank you. Yeah, somebody needed to go on mute there. All right. So let me just drop in. So that's the link to sign up to ChatGPT. And I am going to drop in the link for Simone.
And so what do? We open up chat and we put that in.
Well, if you it doesn't matter if you do have the paid subscription or not. If you just click on the second link that I put in the chat right now, which is Simone AI, okay, it's going to open up in your ChatGPT dashboard if you have a ChatGPT account, okay? So let me share this again. Ooh,
Okay, I'm there.
all right, awesome. And let me just pull up one more thing I need here. All right, I had to pull up my questions here. We're going to get started in just a few seconds here.
Okay, Donna says that it's asking for an access token.
Yes, it is. I'm going to give you that in a second.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys. So I'm going to drop in the access token in just a second here. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, I want to share. Okay.
So do we put the access token into the chat where it's saying ask anything?
I'll tell you how to do that now. Okay, can
Okay.
everybody see my Simone? Everybody
I
could see.
can, yeah, I
Okay,
can.
ChatGPT. Okay, and then I'm going to switch screens. I just want to make sure that you still stay with Simone. Can you see this next screen now? Or are you still with Simone?
Um, let me go back.
On what you see on my screen, yeah.
I'm not there yet. I have what mine says is,
Oh, you could
hey,
see the Google Doc. Okay. All right, let me just move this
it's
Google
asking
Doc
me
over
for
here.
a token.
Yeah, I know. I know. We're going to get to that. Okay. All right. So everybody can see Simone right now?
I have a lot of yeses
Yes,
in the
we're all
chat.
okay. All right. I'm going to give you your access code. I'm going to drop it in the chat. All right. Here is the access code, and this is how I want you to use it. Okay. I'm going to do it first. I'm going to go right here inside of Hey Writer, click here to enter Simone's office. I'm going to enter Simone's office. She's going to ask me for a token, and I am going to give her my token like this. And you should be well, she's going to ask you to confirm that you're part of the novelist studio. You're going to confirm, and then she's going to let you into her office. I want you to stop at this welcome script. Okay. So let me just pop in to the chat. All right.
Okay, Laura, who is saying that chat is asking for $37 instead of 20. Are you in the United States or a different country?
Um,
I'm
where is, okay.
Canada, yes. Oh, okay. So it's the change. Okay. But still, we have to pay that right now, or
What
Uh,
to use ChatGPT? Yeah, you have to upgrade to the plus version. And this is how you know that you're in the plus version right here. What's going on here? Okay.
Let me see.
I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So I just put the token code in there for everybody.
Okay, so I'm in. So anybody who isn't in, just like raise your hand or whatever, and we'll help you there. Um, as Anna was saying, if you go and click the one thing and then put the access code into the Ask Anything area, it will uh, allow you into the studio.
Yeah, or if you just click on Simone AI or enter Simone's office,
Right.
right? Everybody enter and then you're in. Okay, so we're just going to take a couple of seconds, just 1 minute or two to make sure that everyone's situated, answer questions because we want to get started. We have 20 questions to get through. Okay,
Okay,
so, okay, Laura, you have a question?
you can unmute.
yes, I'm sorry. I didn't realize all of this. So what is the difference between the token and paying? Like I pay $37 plus, then I go in and do a token? Sorry.
No, um the token is for access, okay? For access to Simone AI, you need ChatGPT Plus to access Simone AI. So you're already in ChatGPT Plus or you're in ChatGPT free version. And if you click on your icon right here, you can upgrade your plan, okay?
I
And
think
then
I'm
it
in Simone, not ChatGPT plus.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
do you have ChatGPT Plus or are you using ChatGPT free?
I'm trying to get into the ChatGPT plus.
Okay.
okay,
So,
okay.
okay, no problem. So this is how you do this. This is how you do it. So if you're in ChatGPT right now, it's going to look something like this, right? Mine is black. Yours has probably got a white background, right? And so this is, you have to, did you create an account?
That's what I'm trying to do. Sorry, I won't take the group's time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this part, so I think I might not be able to do it.
Okay. And if you just go on OpenH, that link that I set for, well, you're there already. So you just have to figure out how to create an account and then just take that option that says ChatGPT uh, Plus for $20. That's the one you want. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started, you guys.
Yeah. Let me just interrupt for a moment. The chat requires you to be on a paid version to access these AI editors. That is not anything that Anna or I or anyone gets a commission off of. That is just how chat requires it. So there will be a replay for this. So if you want to just follow along and then get Chat Plus and tomorrow go through the whole process, you can do that. I will be sending out a replay link for those who already have the Chat Plus. Then you can get into uh, Simone AI right away.
Okay. All right, guys. So let's get started. Thank you for that clarification, Paula. So We're going to start with the first question. She just welcomed us. She said, "Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to work on these 20 questions to try to figure out your story." Now, you want to give her as much detail as possible, okay? One word answers, one sentence answers, unless it's like a genre that she's asking you for. The more information you give to these models, the better they respond. Okay, so she says, "Are you ready to start on your story journey?" Yes, we are. So we're all going to type yes. Okay, and then she's going to begin. Wonderful. I love that energy already. Let's begin. What's tugging at you to write this story right now? Now, everybody's going to have 90 seconds, okay, to answer this question. For me, I'm going to put my example. This is my example. I'm a bit obsessed with Sex in the City, and I crave more stories like that. Series centered on successful, glamorous women who feel unapologetically alive. Okay, your turn. You got 90 seconds. All right, so I'm going to send that in to Simone, and she's going to give me a little bit of feedback. Oh, I love that. All right, so I'll let everyone read what their feedback is from Simone,
Okay,
and she's going to, yeah?
so mine is saying that it needs more information. What's tugging at me to return to the story now, unresolved, unfinished, or new. This will be the next book in my series. So, do I continue to ask answer these questions until it says ready for the next question?
Yeah, so did you already send it in, Paula?
Well, no, it's asking me. Yeah, I answered one thing, but now it's asking me to elaborate.
Oh, that's because you didn't give it enough information. So yeah, you could go
Okay.
ahead. We'll let you elaborate. Give a little bit more, answer Simone's question, but everybody else should have something similar to either what I got, or if what Paula got, for example, was Simone needed more information, right? So, okay, so here we go. Second question. Ready for the next question? We're going to go yes. All right, the next question is, what kind of story are you craving to tell? Now, think of the tone, the vibe, the energy, okay? The kind of experience that you want the reader to have. Is it a dark comedy? This is a romance session. So, what kind of romance story is it? Um, is it dramatic? Is it exciting? So, what is the tone? And here's an example that Simone gives you as well. Okay. And for me, this is what, um, and by the way, this doesn't have to just be tone. It could be vibe, energy, just the kind of experience that you want your reader to have, right? So for me, this is my answer. I have a brilliant idea for a series revolving around an ensemble of four highly successful and very party forward women in their 40s. That's the kind of book that I'm thinking about writing. So I'm going to send that in and get some feedback. I'm going to wait for everyone. You guys got 90 seconds. We got about 30 seconds left on the clock.
Okay, I just reposted the links and the token access code in the chat for anybody who was like behind.
All right. Got about 10 seconds, guys.
Laura, you don't need Pro at $200 a month. You just need the Plus. So don't go into Pro. You don't need that.
Yes,
All
I was
right.
responding to the person who said it was $29. Something's wrong there for them, I think.
Well, anybody who's not in the United States will probably have a different price point because of currency changes. In the
Mhm.
United States, it's $20 plus tax. I pay $21.20 because I'm in Kentucky and they have a little bit of a tax. For states like Tennessee that don't have tax, it's plain $20. If you're in Canada, Australia, UK, any place like that, there's going to be a currency exchange, so you might find it is a little bit more expensive.
Okay, we're gonna get ready. I answered some. Okay, so I just need to open and put the token, or am I missing something? Yes, you just open the Simone AI link, and if you have ChatGPT Plus, then you can play the game, basically. Okay, so and that's what we're talking about. You need to upgrade to ChatGPT Plus, and you can do that right now if you don't have that. We don't get
Okay,
any
I'm
benefit.
going to insert a little thing here, Anna.
Hmm.
Kim wants to know if the program educates AI by mining your ideas, and I believe the answer to that is no. You can go into chat, and in the settings, you can say, "Do not allow anything that I do to educate AI," and it will not allow anything
Yeah.
that you do.
Don't worry about that at all, okay? AI is not a data repository. AI is not trying to steal your plot and fax it to the cloud somewhere. It's not, that's not how it works, okay? This is a very sophisticated technology. It works with mathematical patterns. It doesn't remember word for word. You're completely safe. Plus, Simone, which you are using, is already have additional privacy that I built into it. But even if you didn't have that, you're still okay. All right. And I can teach people how to even turn off their privacy settings later in the call, but we don't need it for the session. Okay. So feel free. And that's a question everybody always has. You're completely safe. Okay. So now we're going to run into the next question. All right. So we're ready for the next question. Ready. All right. So the next question is, who is the beating heart of your book? Tell me about your main character, the one that we follow the most closely. Who is she or he, and what makes her pulse? For example, it could be a Latina coder who reinvents herself as a man to survive in Silicon Valley, right? Like we're just trying to figure out who the protagonist is. So for me, this is my answer that I am going to give Simone. Um, Lola Reyes is my protagonist, and she's a former tech CEO who walked away from her marriage, her board seat, at her therapist, all in the same week. She's finally living out loud, and her unapologetic reinvention dares the other women to do the same. Okay, now it's your turn. You got 90 seconds. You got about 45 seconds. Remember, the more detail you give Simone, the better her responses are going to be. Okay, I'm going to send mine in, send yours in. And now we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. Okay. So Simone's going to give you some feedback and you can read through it. You can read through it for a few seconds and we're going to go to the next question. Okay, now Simone wants to know, what does your protagonist want more than anything? What's the deep desire driving Lola, that's my protagonist now, the thing that she's chasing, even if she hasn't said it out loud yet? Okay, so in my case, my example is she wants to feel alive again, physically, creatively, and socially. And she's done being the good girl. Love is off the table for Lola. Freedom is what she craves. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a minute to do this one. Okay. Remember, the more detail you give her, the better it is. All right, you got about 20 seconds. All right, and now send it in. Okay, so we're going to get some feedback from Simone, and we're going to let you read it for a couple seconds. And we're ready for the next question. Okay, question number 5. What could go horribly wrong if she doesn't get what she wants? What's the risk for Lola, the emotional, personal, or even social fallout? So what could go wrong for your protagonist? And then Simone's going to give you an example here. And I'm going to put in my example. And remember, my examples are very succinct for educational purposes, but make sure you give her as much information as you can, okay? And you got about a minute to answer this one. Twenty more seconds. All right. I'm going to send mine in. Okay, she's going to give me some feedback. And ready for the next question? Ready. Okay, So these are short answers, right? Unless you have a very complicated world. Maybe there's some magic or it takes place in a dual timeline or but when and where does the story unfold? Okay. And if you have some special stuff like it's in the future or there's a dual timeline or stuff like that, you want to make sure that you give Simone that detail. For me, my answer is modern day Miami. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds for this one because this one's a pretty easy one to answer. Okay. All right. Paula, this is where I'm going to need your romance expertise.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here
So
for you.
we got a lot of romance writers on the line here. So we're going to be ready for the next question. So we're going to go ready. And what genre or mix of genres feels right for your story? My example is women's contemporary fiction, but I know there's a lot of romance writers here, and romance has so many different subgenres. So, Paula, what would you put for your answer on this?
Well, for mine would obviously be historical romance, but I was surprised when I recently used I can't remember if it was Perplexity or if it was Chat to analyze my last books, and they said it was suspenseful historical romance. So,
Wow.
so, you can really drill down quite a bit as far as I can tell. So you might be contemporary, you might be
Oh, she's back.
contemporary small town cowboy. You can really drill down on that.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to put mine in women's contemporary fiction, and we are ready for the next question. Okay, we're cooking, guys. Um, all right, so, ooh, I love this question, and I want you to take your time with this question, okay? What is your spark scene? This is the moment that lights the fuse, okay? This could be your opening scene or your inciting incident, right? So for me, and I kind of like my example here. You guys can follow. At her 40th birthday bash in Miami, Lola gets just drunk enough to throw a champagne flute at a tech bro who makes a bad joke. And the clip hits TikTok, and then she's arrested. And hashtag partygirls40 starts trending by morning. And suddenly she's in the spotlight, but that's not the way that she wants to be in. So this is just a very more succinct example. I'm going to give you 90 seconds for this one. Laura, I'm going to answer your question in a second here. And think about what that scene looks like. Just do a brain dump, right? Like what is this first scene that you keep thinking about? Okay, Laura, do you want to put your question on the chat?
Oh, okay.
Or did you?
Or
Oh,
yes,
oh,
I
you
just
could
wondered
you
if
could
I
ask
could
you
if
could
I could
ask it
ask
real
it
quick.
quicker. Um, so I've just finally got in with everything. So can I jump ahead to where you are,
No,
or should
you
I
gotta
start
you
from?
gotta you gotta but you could just start answering the questions.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So Anna, we had a question. Is there a particular place to put in the tropes? Now, I would think that you would put that in on where you were saying the genre.
Yes,
Is that also where you would put in the tropes like small town, cowboy, enemies to lovers, that kind of thing?
exactly.
Okay, great.
Exactly. That's where you would put it. And by the way, if you forgot to put it, you could just tell Simone that, you wanted to correct that real quick or she'll take your correction. You just have to tell her for question number, I also want to add that. Okay, we got about 25 seconds. Ooh, I love the next question. All right. So I'm going to send that in, and Simone's going to do her thing and give me some feedback about what she thinks so far. And by the way, I know that we're kind of moving briskly through this, but when she is giving you feedback question by question, she's she's trying to give you additional insights that you may not have seen at surface level. So she's looking at stuff from a different angle as well. So keep that in mind if you want to continue working with her and give it another run after the call if we're moving too quickly through, being able to read the answers. All right, so we're ready for the next question. Ready?
Okay, while you do that, I want to say a couple questions. Would Simone tell me if something is too weak because Simone is all positive so far?
Okay, well, we will we is that a question on the chat or is that
Yeah,
a
yes,
question?
Susie wants to know that in the chat.
Okay, Simone is going to give you a market readiness score, and she's going to tell you where some of the challenges are that you could, get stronger in the story starter kit.
Okay, so that comes at the end after you've answered all 20 questions. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
Yeah. And Paula, you didn't have enough information in your first question, and she asked you to put in more information. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so if she doesn't have enough information, she will ask you. Okay.
Okay.
So
And
question
then
number nine. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Kim wants to know if we can do this at our own pace after the webinar. The answer is yes. That's why I didn't even get past the first question because I didn't have all the information, and I realized I will need to go into this tomorrow and work at my own pace because I didn't think about I didn't know what questions were going to be asked. So
Yeah.
this is actually excellent because it makes us think a lot more about what we want to write.
Yeah. Ooh, we're not even in the fun part yet. Okay. So, question number nine, what is the one line that your protagonist might say that captures her vibe? Okay. Um, Lola, my protagonist, would say, "You don't burn it all down unless you're planning to dance in the ashes."
Ooh, I like that.
All right, guys, you got I'm going to give you 30 seconds for this one.
A question from Donna. With a dual timeline, does the spark scene happen in the past or the present?
That's up to you. As the writer, what is that scene when you're thinking about the novel? Are you thinking in the present timeline, or are you thinking when do you think that big moment that starts the novel? When does that happen? And which timeline? That's the one you want to capture. And by the way, you can tell Simone if you have a dual timeline, like I said, you can give her both spark scenes if you want. Okay. And I know that takes a lot of time to think through, so you can do that later on at your own pace as well. All right, guys, I'm going to send this one in. And okay, so we're ready for the next question. Let you read through that for a little bit. Okay. Okay, so what is the big idea or message? This is when we start getting to the story behind the story, right? What is a big idea or message you hope readers to walk away with? Okay. What truth sits at the heart of your story? The thing that you want to leave echoing for your reader. In my case, It is Friendship is the Real Love Story. Oops, sorry about that. Shoot. Okay. Friendship is the real love story. Men come and go, careers rise and fall, but the right women at your table will save your life. Okay. I'm going to give you a minute for this one. Okay, and we're going to send that in. You can read over your answer. And this next one is pretty easy. Okay. So we're going to go ready. What is a working title for your novel? So something that captures the energy, even if it's just a working title. Okay. For me, I love my title, Party Girls 40. That's my title. So I'm going to wait for everyone. I'm going to give you 30 seconds for this one.
Okay, so we have a question from KCS echoing Susie's question. Simone has been very positive. That doesn't quite vibe with practical planning. Can I ask her to be more critical?
Um, who said that?
KCS.
Okay. I don't think
I'm presuming that when we get to the end where she actually comes out with the results of the questions, um,
Oh,
that
I see it. Okay. Simone has been very positive. That doesn't quite vibe with practical planning. You can ask her to be more critical. You can absolutely ask her to be more critical. So you could just say that. Um, you know, before, you ask me the next question, uh, or when you give her the next answer, say, can you please be a little bit more critical with my answers going forward? And she will tighten it up for you.
okay.
Okay.
And then another question from Laura. Can we get a copy of our answers from Chat
Yeah,
Plus?
you're gonna get an entire story starter kit that you're gonna download and walk away with. But I just want to say I would wait until, to tell Simone if she's being like to be harder because she might be looking at things from a different point of view and you're only halfway through the process. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do that, but I would recommend to just wait and then you can try different things with her later. Okay?
Okay. And KCS said, great. If I'm looking at marketing position, I need to know if it will actually land. And I think that's the whole point of Simone, isn't it? Is you
Yes.
give her all the information and she will tell you if you have something that's viable.
Yeah, she will. She'll give you a readiness score and she'll bring up, she'll surface some of the challenges and some of the fears that you may have as well. So, okay, so we're gonna ready for next question. We're gonna say ready. And this one is Okay, so we're looking at comps now. So what books, shows, or movie does your story remind you of? This one's a pretty easy answer. So let's just do like, 30 seconds on this one. Okay, so for me, it would be,
So I have to ask you, can we like put in a title
you can put a title of a book, a title of a
of one
show.
of our previous books if it's in a series?
Well, I wouldn't do your own book. I would try to do a comp that was in your own work.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move to the next question. All right. And again, when you have more time, read through what Simone gave, through what Simone gave you. Some of these like real-time answers have additional insights outside of the story starter report. So let's see, we're ready for the next question. Yes, we are.
Okay, so Barbara says, since we write romance and have two protagonists, in essence, when do we talk about the other character? I focused on the female main character. Will we get to the male main character?
No, we won't get to a second character, but well, we are going to get to something else, but not to address that challenge that you just raised. So what I would do is when you try again with Simone later and she's asking you about your protagonist, if you have two, tell her I have two. And and then just tell her about both of your protagonists, okay?
And I
All right.
would I would put in there, tell Simone who your main character is and who the love interest character is, because that's a distinction a lot of romance writers don't understand, that they're not equal. You have a main character and a love interest character, and they are slightly different.
Yeah, and I mean, you could, I guess, have co-protagonists. Like, I did have a writer that was doing a historical fiction romance piece, and she did have a dual timeline and two protagonists. So that could happen if you have a dual timeline. Okay. Who do you imagine loving the story? Now, for this is like who are you envisioning reading this book, right? For me, my ideal reader is a high achieving, emotionally seasoned woman who creates stories that reflect where they are now, not where they were at 28. So take your time with this one because this one is important and we don't ask ourselves as writers this question deeply enough. So I'm going to give you guys a minute for this one.
You know what I love about this question is, so for years all the advice is, who is your ideal reader? Well, hell, I don't know. But if you go on to chat with a deep thinking or perplexity with the deep thinking, and talk about your book a little bit, what, your storyline is, what your genre is, what your tropes are, and ask who typically reads this book, and you will find out who your reader avatar is. I was amazed at the information I got back when I did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like our number one customer. We never even like think about this question as deeply as we should. Okay. So she's going to give you some feedback and we are ready for the next question. All right, question 14. Okay. So very important question. You're going to need about 90 seconds for this one, okay? If you followed another character through this book, not the main character, but one of her friends, okay, who would it be? Or another supporting character. I would try to stay away from co-protagonists on this one, okay? This is a supporting character. What private problem or personal challenge is this person trying to solve while your protagonist's story unfolds?
And this is such an interesting question because I don't think that most of us give enough thought to our supporting characters. The whole
Well,
point of these supporting characters, whether it is a mentor or a best friend or an antagonist or a child, is the insight that they help our main characters have in overcoming their misbelief or their wound. And so, in a lot of ways, our supporting character might have an opposite point of view from the best friend, who is our main character, um, and that helps throughout the book. Helps the main character change their point of view, change their misbelief, change their wound. Not that they're going to change their wound, but how to overcome their wound and live with it and still move ahead in their life. Okay,
yeah.
Carolyn says, why would you recommend staying away from the dual protagonist? Just curious. I think I just answered that question, but go ahead, Anna, if you think
Yeah.
that needs.
So I don't want to give away why, but these are Socratic questions to make you think. And I just have to say that a co-protagonist would not give you the best answer for this. Oops. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to send mine in. All right, question 15. Ready, we're ready. Okay. So if you jumped ahead to the final pages of this book, what image, scene, or moment do you imagine closing the story? Now, I'm going to give you a minute for this one, and just it could be an abstract thought of a scene that you have, and you don't have to have it super well formulated. Just give Simone as much information as you can. I'm going to pop my answer in here.
So I have a question about this one,
Mm-hmm.
Anna. I like to, not always, but sometimes I like to have the closing scene mirror an opening scene so that the reader can see that the opening wound or misbelief is now closed. The misbelief is changed or the wound is overcome. Can you say to Simone, I would like to have this closing scene mirror an opening scene? Is that something that you can do or not?
You can, if you told her, you could say it like this. I would like to have my closing scene mirror my spark scene, and show a character transformation. You could say
Okay,
it like that.
cool.
Mhm. All right, we got about 30 seconds left. Remember, get specific.
I have a tendency to, uh, when I outline, I can usually get about 80% through, but that last 20%, for the most part, reveals itself to me as I write the first 80%. And so that's why I had asked the question that I did about that closing scene.
All right. So I'm going to send that in, and we are getting close. We're getting close. So now let's go to the next question. Ready? Okay. By the end of the story, what does Lola understand in my case, that's my main protagonist, um, accept or finally stop believing that she couldn't at the beginning. So this is not about what happens to your protagonist, it's what becomes clear for her or him. Okay. Just, I'm going to give you guys 40 seconds on this one. Pop in my answer. All right. We're going to send that in. Now things are going to start getting really interesting. All right. So we're going to say ready. Hold on to your hats. What part of this story makes you feel the most lit up to write? What's the piece you cannot stop thinking about? The one that makes you grin, tear up, feel like you're channeling something bigger than yourself. Okay, I'm gonna give you the answer um, to my story here, just to kind of help you along. And I'll give you 90 seconds for this one. Creating four wildly successful women over 40 who party really hard, take lovers, make messes, and don't apologize for a damn thing. I want readers to live vicariously through them, to feel sexy, seen, and fully alive again, just like Fitzgerald's Flappers redefined womanhood. I want Party Girls 40 to redefine freedom after 40. Right? You got 90 seconds. All right. And I'm going to send that in. Okay.
I love your reference to flappers. My grandmother, who was very straight-laced, I
Uh-huh.
found out that she and my grandfather, they didn't make bathtub gin, but they went to parties where they drank bathtub gin.
Oh my gosh. That's it's always the quiet ones, right? Okay. Ready for the next question. We're going to say ready. Okay. What part of the story scares you the most to write? Okay. What maybe feels too vulnerable? Now, there's no wrong answers here. Like that first thing that comes to your mind, that's it. And then dig a little deeper. Okay. Um, Maybe it's too close to home. Maybe it feels too big. Okay. So for me, I'll give you my example. So I'm afraid that I love Sex in the City so much that I'll sound too much like that same character ensemble. I want to do something different. I want to write something different. Now, remember, my example is brief for educational purposes, but just this is a private session. Nobody can see your answers, not even me. Okay. So let it all hang out. I'm going to give you guys a minute for this one. All right. And here we go. Okay. All right. So now we are, you can take a second to read through that for your own answer. And now we are getting close to home here. Ready for the next question? We are ready. Okay, question 19. If you don't write this book, what stays unresolved for you? Or what do you suspect you'll keep circling back to? For example, I think I'd keep telling myself I'll write this story someday after I'm more confident, more skilled, less busy, etc. I've done that before, and I know that if I don't commit to the story, I'll keep wondering whether I ever really gave myself a chance to become the writer I believe I could be. I mean, it could be anything, right? This is just an example. I'm going to give you guys a minute for this one because this one takes some thinking through. And be honest.
That really hits home to me, Anna, because my husband, who's passed away 7 years ago, my husband and I, for 20 some odd years, were members of a black powder mountain man shooting club. And so we were not reenactors, we emulated the mountain man era, our clothes, our weapons, our just everything, how we camped out and all that kind of stuff. And in a lot of ways, I know more about early 1800s living in primitive types, teepees, etc. And yet I'm very hesitant to write about the mountain man era because I, even having lived so much of that, I feel maybe I'm incompetent when it comes to actually living the mountain man era. Isn't that kind of strange?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's really interesting and kind of complicated, like that you got to there, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Okay. All right. So read through that, read through your answer. Now we're going to go to the final question. All right, ladies and gents, here we go. Question 20. How would your life change? This is the big one. Okay. How would your life change if you finish this book? Okay. I don't want you to think small or practical. Imagine the truest, boldest version of what this means. Okay. And the reason I say it this way is I've written, I've written two books before and I've gotten two books already published and I'm working on my third one now. And I am not a woo-woo person by any means. I'm a creative writer, but I am a software developer too. So I'm very, very data driven. And the things that happened to me after I finished my first and second book, I would have never thought in a million years those things would happen for me. So I want to give you permission to dream big here. Okay. I'll give you 60 seconds for this one. And for me, it's I may end up with a penthouse in New York City. Okay. But be as specific as you can when you're writing. Get real honest with yourself.
Okay. So Melina said that when she answered with something about her character arc that didn't feel quite right, she added more details about the main character's attitude at the beginning and got a great answer about her arc. So you can add more information to get the clarity. Thank you very much for adding that, Melina.
Oh, awesome.
And then Penny said, I got to the end and really liked Simone's final report. I filled out the testimonial, but I can't scratch the card. I'd like to try Ellis. I'm not sure what she's talking about there, but anyway, there you go. I'm glad that you liked Simone's private report, and definitely Ellis would be the next step for you.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that when we get through this. But I'm so happy to hear that. And yes, do leave a review because it helps other writers. Um, I think it's a really kind of a bit of a magical experience when you start answering Socratic questions. Um, you start saying things that you didn't even realize that were going on. So, okay, so now you're going to send that in, and I know some of you are already ahead of me, and she's going to say, "Great, you are you ready for your start your story starter kit?" Sorry, I couldn't get that out. Okay, and I'm going to go, yes. All right. Okay, so this is your story starter kit. She's gonna do a few things here. And by the way, you can either download it or yeah, you can download it. You can, oops.
Edit, I think, was the next question or the next tab over.
Okay, yeah, you can copy, well, you're not gonna edit that, or I guess you would copy or download it so that you can keep a copy, right? You can put it on your Google Doc anywhere, just kind of like this. All right, you're going to go to a new document. You can paste it there, or you can just download it. And you can read through this, but what she gives you a synopsis to really kind of bring your story into focus and your elevator pitch, your comps. She gives you the opening scene, and as writers, and depending on what level you are in writing, but every scene needs to have a beginning, middle, and a payoff. That's what we call beats. And she does that. The subplot thread, this is why I didn't want you to use a co-protagonist because she's going to use one of your supporting characters and she's going to develop or surface for you what she thinks that the subplot that's playing in your head is. And that's what that question was about. And then, of course, the closing scene snapshot. Then she's going to give you the market viability snapshot and a confidence score. And this is where she starts getting personal with you, right? About your urgency, desires, fears, etc. And your custom writing plan. When you can get your first draft done if you write so many words, and then the reason why you have to write this book. So I'm going to take a pause here, and I can talk a little bit about, well, first I want to I want to open up the floor and hear some, any questions that you guys have, and then I'll tell you what happens after this. And what do you do after this, right? So I know that we have some questions on Ellis, maybe we have some questions on Olivia. I can really do like also a very quick demo on Olivia as well. So,
Okay, so Susie
yeah.
says my market readiness score is surprising and yet great. She gave me honest feedback in the story starter kit. I still want to try out Olivia as I asked about during your presentation during the Plot Forest last year. Apparently, I'm 20,000 words too short for what she suggests. And then Margaret says, I'm loving this AI market positioning coach.
Okay. Oh, I think
Jada
maybe.
said, I really liked this.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you guys want to just see really quick, like in 2 minutes, how Olivia works on outlining your novel?
I do.
Okay. All right. Well, and again, you can keep, and this is how I like to use Simone as for the students in my AI Creative Writing Academy. Um, and what we do is this is part of their AI editorial team. And what happens is we are creative people, right? We are creative people. And then we start working on our novel, and then we start getting a lot of ideas. And those ideas are gold. And I always tell my writers, make sure that if you have any ideas while you're working on other stuff, run it through Simone and file it in your novels to develop folder, right? Now you have captured the idea in a very well-rounded way. And this is really helping you build the stable of work that you can later develop as a writer. Okay. This is really different than just writing, oh, I have an idea about this, that, and the other, and putting it in your notebook. Okay. Um, so let me just show you real quick how Olivia outlines. So um, Olivia is my outliner here at the AI Creative Writing Academy, and she's basically like she will work with me to build my entire structure for my novel. Now, at this point, I already know my novel really well. I've done all the things that I need to do that are part of the process before I walk into Olivia's office. So I'm going to go in here and she's going to ask me for my token. Let me just grab that. Oh, where did my token go? I think I have it here. Okay. All right. So send that in. I'm going to confirm. Okay, she's going to welcome me and do her thing. I'm just going to tell her that I'm excited. Okay. All right. And now she is going to ask me for my story. So let's see. Oh, that's not it.
Okay, first thing to remember, let's let's organize where we put all of these things. If you go into Simone, let's say you have 3 or 4 different novels that you're thinking about, you can go into Simone and you can get all of these things, put them in a place where you can find them again, because obviously
Oh,
most of us don't write 3 or 4 novels all at the same time.
yeah, organization is key, especially in the age of AI assist, because you get so much output. Okay, so here I've told Olivia, hey, these are all the details of my novel that I've worked out. You know, I have them in a special way that I deliver it to them and to her, and then she's gonna go, all right, so let's build your first 15 core scenes first. Now we can't write a novel in 15 scenes, but Olivia's gonna outline the first 15 scenes, and then she's going to work with you to do scene layering and add more scenes and all of that. So I have a dual timeline. This particular novel here is a dual timeline, and it's historical fiction. So she's asking me, hey, where do you want to start? Do you want to start in 1917 or do you want to start in 2017? I'm going to say, let's start in 1917. Okay. And now, all right, she's going to ask me a few more questions. Okay, so we're going to begin with Act 1, Scene 1, which functions as your opening image, et cetera, et cetera. She's got a few questions. Before I generate the full scene breakdown, can you confirm your target total word count? Okay, yes. It is 90. Yes, 90K. All right. And now I'm going to just say, I'm just moving through this really quickly. Okay. So now check how Olivia works. Okay. Check this out. So she's going to give me book coaching for scene. All right. She's going to give me the first scene that I can write. Now, remember, I gave her a bunch of stuff about my novel. This is not just AI making stuff up. This is my novel and she's structuring it for me. Okay. So she's going to give me a little bit of book coaching for historical fiction and what I need to consider. Okay. She's going to give me a subplot reminder that I could just to kind of keep in mind. And the genre specific coaching specifically for dual timeline and historical fiction. And then she's going to give me a scene to write. Okay. So here's the thing, one of the scenes that you can write, and here are the setting details. And I love this feature. She actually does all the research for me on the setting details, right? Those are so hard to make up on the fly when you're writing your first chapter, second chapter, whatever, right? Especially when you have a dual timeline and two different settings. She's going to do all the research for me that touches all the five senses so that when I'm writing, I can already bring the reader in with all the five senses of my setting. Then she's going to give me all the significant actions. Remember, we talked about how every scene needs to have a beginning, middle, and payoff. These are what we call beats. This is the significant action and all the beats that are going to happen in this scene. Okay. And then the emotional reactions. This is the interiority, the character interiority, and how the characters are going to react on the page based on those significant actions. And then the subplot tie-in seeding. She's going to tell me you already have opportunities to start seeding in some subplot opportunities. And then she's going to tell me scene complete. Let's move on. Now, at this point, if I want Olivia, maybe I wanted her to start in 2017. I could just ask her, can you start in 2017 for scene one just to see the difference, right? I can ask her for that and she will do it. Okay. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to end up with 40 scenes that are going to be very structurally sound that you can draft to and that has all your book coaching in there and all your setting details research already done. All right. I am going to stop sharing. Do we have any questions before I stop sharing?
Oh, wow, we've got 15 new comments. So let's see.
Okay.
What was in your story Bible? Just a synopsis of your story. So your story Bible that you put in here, you worked with Simone on one thing, but on Olivia you put in a different thing. But basically, if I understand this correctly, what you did with Simone is what you would put in for Olivia if you're working through the same book. Is that correct?
Um, Well, similar. It's a system, right? So you ideate with Simone, but by the time that you get to Olivia, you have to answer a bunch of other questions because Simone is just really a market positioning and story development coach, right? Olivia is a story architect. You're going to have to give her a lot more detail. Okay. So this is just an example of some of the stuff that I gave Olivia, but it goes deeper than this, right? I have to tell her about my subplots. I have to tell her about, if I have any special magic elements in my story, I have to tell her that. So, this is when you're part of the AI Creative Writing Academy, you're walked through the system that you have to, just like you answered all those questions with Simone, you're going to have to answer a bunch of other questions before you start working with Olivia so that she can start
Oh.
architecting your story.
Okay, Jessica says, do the editors work within series frameworks? I'm working on a series and answered in terms of the series, but the report I received back is for a single book.
Is it the first series? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that completely.
Um, she's writing a series, but what
Uh-huh.
she got back from Simone was for a single book, even though she put in information for the entire series. I think, to me,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
have a series, you're still working book by book, aren't you?
yeah, and I think maybe the writer wanted to know like what the scope is for the series. Could you get a scope, right? And you would actually have to ask her and get more granular with her, like when she tells you like I think it's question number 2, you would say I have an idea for book 1 of this and book 2 of this and book 3 of this, right, in the series and this. So all that detail that you give her is going to help her give you a more robust story starter kit in the context of a series.
Okay. And Laura says, I'm working to be more paperless as that does create a mess. I'm so ready for assistance of these types of programs. Okay. And Dean says, for somebody who has never written anything creative before, is there help through these tools to learn how to write better? I'm gonna throw in
Yes.
here, Dean. Um, my entire store is for very focused mini trainings on how to write better. And on the 27th and 28th, I'm going to have a flash sale with discounts for people who want to, instead of doing individual courses, but wants a membership into the entire store so that they can go and it will be a huge discount versus buying everything individually. They will be able to access anything in the store that they want for one price. So I'm sorry, I'm giving myself a little
Yeah,
bit of a
that's okay. And I'm gonna I'm gonna also just kind of add color to that. When you work with these AI tools, I have programmed them to actually coach you, and they're actually coaching you in real time. And you become a better writer in real time. So, so yeah, they absolutely help you do critical thinking, stay organized, really get a great roadmap. Ellis is a fantastic developmental editor, and she's having a really big update that I'm going to release at the end of the month. So I think that I do want to say that we do have an offer, and I'm not doing I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching and small group coaching last year, but I am now moving away from that. And this offer is now available in the academy, and how it works is it's 497, okay, and you get onboarded and you watch about an hour of videos explaining everything to you and how it works and how to get set up and how to get ready for Olivia or how to get ready for Ellis. And then you drop into the live community, and I am live in the live community, and you can ask me questions there, etc. But it is really a creative writing academy school, and it's a system that we go through. So that is a new offering that I have for this year, because I'm no longer doing the personalized coaching that I was last year, but you can still catch me in the community. And yeah.
Okay, so Anita
Oh, I'm
says,
sorry. Yes, it is. It is. I forgot that little detail. That's
say,
kind of a big deal. Okay, so it is 497 a month, and it is $97 a month after that.
no,
Okay, so
497 one time, and then
497 is the enrollment, okay? And this is the theory behind that for writers, okay? So for 497 gets you enrolled in the academy, okay? And you get access, you do the onboarding, you do the 1 hour video, and you get, you start getting set up. If you have a draft, you're going to be working with Ellis on a developmental plan, and you're going to be giving her your whole manuscript, and she's going to be giving you scene by scene coaching and a very deep developmental edit. Okay. um, I'm just going to say it like this: I would not hire an editor unless they had an AI strategy. Okay. um, and you can take from that what you want.
I,
So
I'm sorry, Anna,
uh-huh.
you froze for a moment there. You would not hire an editor, then you froze.
Unless they had an AI strategy. This is how strongly I feel about Ellis.
Okay.
She's a great editor, and I'm doing a really great update for her at the end of the month. So So it's $97 a month, and then the $97 a month gets you the community and the live sessions. You drop in with me, you ask me questions, but you're working with the tools. The three editors are going to be integrated into your ChatGPT workspace. They're personal for you, right? And you're moving through your entire, you're either outlining your novel or you're editing your novel. You can work with Olivia and Ellis in different ways. So so this is how the academy works. And you can make a 3-month commitment. I'm just going to commit for 3 months. I'm going to enroll. I'm going to do the $97 a month, and I'm going to, reassess from there. I will say that my writers love the tools so much that I have a 99% retention rate, because the tools are so valuable. I have writers in my community that are bestsellers, that are best-selling writers that have one of my writers has 50 books. She's been writing for years and years. She's written 50 books, and she's a bestseller in romance, and she uses all my tools. So just I'll answer any questions if you
Okay.
guys have any
So
at this.
Anita says, aren't there problems having AI write your scenes for you? I'm going to comment on that because recently Kindlepreneur came out with an explanation. There is a difference between AI generated and AI assisted. This is AI assisted, and on like Amazon, you do not have to have any disclosure for AI assisted. If AI is writing a scene for you, you do have to tell them it is AI generated, even if it's for a small portion of your book. So when you get scene prompts from AI, but you are writing those scenes yourself, that's AI assisted, and there are no restrictions on like
Yeah, so
Amazon.
so let me, let me just add color to that, Paula, and that's right on. So I am one of the leaders in the space, okay? I am one of the leaders in the AI assisted writing space. My work and my editors have been they have been recognized by the US copyright law for AI assisted collaboration. They never write for you. They are never going to write a scene for you. If you are looking for a program that is going to generate prose, this is not it, okay? My editors work with all of your detail that you're going to have to put together through a process that we go through. And then they architect your story, or they give you developmental feedback, just like an editor would. Okay. And you can have conversations with them. At no point in the process are they ever going to write any words for you.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Also, it says here, does Simone and the other editors remember previous conversations so I don't need to inform them before every new session, like with regular chat,
Yeah.
GPT?
So I should probably do this right here. By the way, if you are, and I'm going to answer that question this way, if you are working with ChatGPT Plus, all your saved chats are down here. Okay, you don't have to start a new chat; they're all here. And when you work with the editors, it's going to be a collaboration, and so you're going to collaborate, you're going to get through, you're going to outline your entire novel. If there gets a moment where the chat is too big and you need to start a new chat, there's a process to upload all your materials and start back right where you left off, right? But there are limitations with chats getting too long. That happens sometimes, but it's just how the tools are, but they're going to remember everything. I have a process to make sure that you're keeping everything organized to retrain your editor in 60 seconds. Okay.
Okay. And Carolina wants to know what's the benefit of using these AI tools over working with a human editor or book coach who's an expert in the genre? I love that question because,
Yes.
in a lot of ways, um, yeah, I love that question. You go ahead, Anna.
Yeah. So, in terms of editing, I think that Ellis does a fantastic job. And like I said before, I would not work with an editor unless I knew that they knew how to use AI because I want their eyes and I want the critical thinking skills that they can use in conjunction with an AI tool so that I can get the best value for my money. Okay. So I love the way that Ellis works. She's my editor and she's really, really thorough. Now, in terms of craft, um, it if you work with somebody like Paula and she's got a lot of great stuff in her store, she's gonna be talking. It's like a different subject, right? She's gonna be talking more things that you have to really be cognizant of and craft in the romance area, right? These editors that I built, they're agnostic to I trained them in every genre, right? But you're always gonna need a human in the loop, right? And that's where an expert comes in.
I'm going to throw in there also for Carolina that if you have like an 80 to 90,000 dollar 80 to 90,000 word novel, you're probably looking at 1,500 to $2,500 to have an editor go through that. And that's one edit. That's one edit. You have your developmental editor, you have your line editor, you have your copy editor, you have your proofreader. And if you put all those together, it's not unreasonable. If you do all of those things, it's not unreasonable to have $8,000 to $10,000 into a book.
Oh yeah,
Are
it
you?
gets really expensive very quickly. It
It
does.
does. And so, what I say, do as much as you can before you go to that human editor, simply to save money. And to tell you the truth, maybe there's a big question of if you've gone through all of the AI editors, maybe do you need the human editor? And as Anna was saying, it's not like you're just on your own with AI. You have that whole community, you have access to Anna. I think it's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm a book coach. Yes. And at the same time, I have to say there are a lot of things that I see when I'm coaching that is like, wow, you could have done this, a lot of this before you got to me that would have made it easier for both of us.
yeah, yeah. I want to answer some questions here about the price.
Hmm.
So you pay the enrollment fee, you pay the $97 a month, right? If you drop out, okay, as an alumni, you can come back for the same subscription, you know,
The
whatever.
97, you don't have to pay the 497 again,
You
is what
don't
you're
have to pay
saying.
the 497 again, right? Um, but like I said, I have, a really great retention in a lot of the writers end up staying. Some writers, they have to go for obviously financial reasons, right? But it's really a great system. And then you're working with other writers in the community too who are going through the same system. And so your first draft becomes you're going to draft at a whole different level, right? You're going to edit in a different level um, than you would before. You don't have to wait 4 months for an editor to give you feedback on a manuscript. Usually, what my writers do is they go through a first edit with Ellis, they go through a second edit with Ellis, and then they send it to a beta reader. That's the human in the loop solution, right? They don't go to an editor, they go to a professional beta reader, and that could be really inexpensive. You can get a beta reader for about 120 $150, and they, at least the beta reader that I have, they come back with an amazing reader report that's like 15 pages, and now you have even more stuff to edit, right? So and then also because you guys came here and you were with us today, you do get 20% off the academy if you sign up in the next, is it 6 days, Paula? I think she froze. But yeah, I
I
think
I believe that's through doing that.
or is it through is it for the next
Um,
6 days they get 20% off the enrollment fee. So you get 20% off um the enrollment.
hold on, through the 23rd, January 23rd, through that.
Okay.
And so, another question from Michelle. What is your story Bible? Just a synopsis of your story, question mark.
Uh, what is the story Bible? No, the story Bible typically means that it's everything about your story, right? Like your summary, all the characters, the subplots, all the stuff, right? Like everything that you have to think through. If you have special elements, if you have a dystopian world, all that stuff. And we used to do that manually and in pieces. So that's really what a story Bible is.
Oh,
That term's been around for a while. Hmm.
okay. So, Dean might want to talk to you personally, Anna. He says that it might take a month to get the 497, but the 97 a month should be okay. So, I don't know if you want to extend something for him specifically that uh, you guys ought to talk back and forth. Dean, get in touch with me or Anna. I don't know if you came from my list or from her list, but I'm quite sure we can work out something for you. Okay, Mary says to add to this question, would we have to pay? Excuse me, I just lost it. Would we have to pay 497 each time we come back? No, 497 is a one-time only fee, and let me see. Carolina says this might have gotten lost in the question for Anna. What's the benefit? Okay, we answered that. Okay, are the limits per month of working with Simone, Olivia, and Ellis?
I'm sorry, can you say that question again?
Are there limits?
Oh, no limits.
Eh,
They're up 24/7. They're up 24/7. They're you
so
can
so
you
you could do if you have ideas for 5 books, you can just run 5 books through all of them. No limitation there.
yeah, there's no limits. No limits.
Okay. Uh,
I want you to use them as much as you can.
okay.
As
Can you work with
generous.
these tools on your own without joining the community? I think the community is included at no additional fee. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, that is part. It is so
Mhm.
it's basically a school. It's an academy, and the enrollment fee gets you the community. And you want the community because you want to drop in and ask me questions for tool optimization, or if you start, getting stuck somewhere and you want to be able to drop me questions in the community, and I answer all the questions every day. I'm live in the community probably about 4 times a month doing different things. We also have 3 group writing sessions to kind of keep folks accountable. So yeah, it comes with it. Hmm.
Okay. And so Donna says, so can we do either 97 or 497 and then 97? It is 497 one time plus 97 a month. Now, this is one question I have for you. So you come in here and you join at 497. Does the 97 start the next month?
Great question. Okay. So enrollment is 497, and on day 31, the 97 starts.
Okay.
So you
So
get,
sorry, my question got lost. How does your developmental editor handle more erotic scenes? I know that ChatGPT has strict guidelines.
yeah. So those are that's some of the guidance that I give writers, and there is a way that you have to basically write those prompts. And when you're building out your story with Olivia, I'll give you some guidance on that. There's
Okay.
certain ways to phrase things. Hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
And
and by the
then,
way, Paula, we forgot to tell everybody. So, okay, first of all, please leave Simone a review. You would do me a great honor to do that, and I want to help as many writers go through this wonderful experience that you guys just went through. And also Paula's 20%, because if you leave a review, you get the 10%, but you don't need the 10%. You want the 20%. So it's either the 10% or the 20. And the 20% is romance. That's the code that you want to use at checkout.
okay, thank you. Okay, let me see. I got lost here. Okay, do you need to disclose AI assistants to agents? They have started to
No,
ask about that.
no,
No,
you
it's only
don't.
AI
Okay.
generated that you have to
Thank
disclose.
you. Thank you for saying that question, for asking that question, because this is like one of my pet peeves. Even the Authors Guild is like, you need to maybe, it's a suggestion, okay? And the Authors Guild is really doing a lot of great stuff for us, okay, for writers, and they're starting to get more supportive and understanding of AI Assist. It took them about 2 years to get there. And like I said, everything I built is in alignment with Authors Guild guidance and the US copyright law, which is the strictest law worldwide, by the way. So no, you don't. Please don't disclose that you use an AI tool to ideate or structure your novel. You're writing the book. The copyright law states that if the book is your expression and your words, it is your book. Okay. These tools are just like using Grammarly, it's just like using AutoCrit. And as long as you're not asking AI to write a book for you or generate prose or generate lines of prose for you, you're good. And do not disclose it to agents.
Okay. So I'll go through a few more questions here, but then we're going to have to cut it off because we're already like
I
45 minutes
know, we've
over.
gone almost 2 hours. All right, guys, thanks
So,
for hanging with us.
so isn't this tool generating descriptions of settings, characters, etc.? If you use that in your manuscript, is that not AI written?
I'm sorry, Paula. I'm having a little bit of difficulty.
I know it's getting late, isn't it? So
No,
isn't
just
this tool generating descriptions of settings, characters, etc.? If you use that in your manuscript, is that not AI written?
no, no, because remember, Olivia didn't just come up with all that stuff on her own. I already did all of this work and I already formulated what my story was about, okay, before I stepped into her office. She's an architect. She's not a story generator,
Okay.
okay?
So where we would historically go through and research an entire setting, um, especially for historical, where we go in and, maybe a city we've never been to, we spend all these hours researching that for the setting. Now, one of these tools does that for us, whether we use your tools or we use Perplexity or Chat or Claude.
Yeah.
It's giving us information about the settings, but we're still picking and choosing what parts of that we're using, and we're not. I would hope, Carolina, that we're not copying that verbatim into our manuscript because that's giving us information. It's not writing the
You,
way an author would write.
yeah, and I'm sorry to jump in here, Paula, but you're right, because I know we're getting running out of time here, but you're right, Paula, everything you said. And the setting details that you're getting, there Olivia is doing research for you and telling you like this is what a World War I hospital looks like. It has this, it has this, it has this. You still have to write the creative expression yourself,
Right.
right? So, and Carolina, I want to answer this question. If it's just a tool, then why not treat it like that? I'm going to tell you, and why not tell agents? And I should have probably said that when, I so adamantly said, don't tell agents because it is such a nascent market. And I'll tell you a story. I was talking to another book coach. She's a very well-known book coach in the space, okay? And she interviewed me for her podcast and she asked me that same question. And she had a writer that used ChatGPT just like we're talking about here, right? She just used AI for feedback, whatever. And she disclosed that. And the agent turned her down and didn't even want to look at her manuscript. Okay. So it's not, that's the agent's fault. The agent is not educated on AI assist and what it means. And it's a very new market, and you never know how much knowledge, just like you guys have learned so much about AI and what's ethical, what's not ethical. You don't know how much knowledge this agent has on AI. That's why I don't want you to put yourself in that line of fire. We got to wait until the market catches up. In 5 years, this is going to be a moot point. Nobody's going to be talking about did you use AI? Everybody's going to use AI in the creative workflow. It just makes sense.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Paula, do you want to do
Another
one more
question, how
question?
long will we have access to, yeah, how long will we have access to Simone? I think that will be through the 23rd, won't it? When
Yes,
when we
yes.
cut
You'll
off.
be
Okay.
access to Simone
Um, And I'm sorry, we just don't have time for all the other comments and questions, of which there's like another 40 here, and we don't have time for that. Anybody who did not have their question answered, if they want to just email me or email Anna, depending on whose list you came from, feel free to do that. We will get back to you within the next few days clarifying that. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Anna, for sharing Simone with us. This is so exciting. I can hardly wait to play with this over the weekend and see what I come up with. And I will be seeing you soon in the community.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks for
Thank you.
joining. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.